your man, relax. Okay? Calm down. If she was a keyboard, every button would be pressed.
Well, there's no way that people are perfect.
Nothing good in life is easy. This thing is like a
This
very
thing, I don't know.
good for you.
Yeah, good for you. I don't
Okay.
believe you. Can I clean your glasses?
No.
For the love of God.
This week, this is so loud. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Tell me you have ADHD. You have ADHD.
This week, we're going to be talking about married life, the expectations versus reality. We're also going to be talking about common struggles in relationships and why marriage is hard for us. Make sure to submit your stories or questions at www.halfpastja.com. Let's get into it, Half Past Crew. Welcome to
Half Past Ja.
Guys, welcome back to another episode of Half Past Ja, where we drink cha while we spill it. We're your hosts. My name is Suketu.
My name is Hallie.
And we're an interracial couple. If you can't tell, if you're not watching this, you probably can't tell. I'm Indian.
I'm white.
So, there it is, right there.
Watch
we talk
the video.
a lot about being an interracial couple. We share our experiences, but we also get a lot of shared experiences from the people who submit to www.halfpastshot.com. And it's been amazing to learn about all the different interracial couples that are out there. We release a new podcast episode every Monday at 7 a.m. So if you're new, make sure you subscribe and hit that like button real quick. You also have to turn on those post notifications because if you don't, you're never going to know when we post, okay?
And we post all the time.
Make sure you do that. Follow us on all the socials, TikTok, Instagram. You know what to do. So settle in, get cozy, and grab your cha. All right, Hallie, let's get right into it. Marriage expectations versus reality. Oh my goodness.
Man, you guys. All right. Just going to be frank with all of you. Marriage is a lot harder than we thought it was going to be. As kids getting married, I mean, some would argue we are still kids. Getting married young, marriage is hard, all right? And it's a lot harder than we thought it would be. So we're going to go through some of our own expectations versus reality. We each have our own. We don't know what they are. So I think I've got 3, you've got 3, and we're going to talk about them.
Yep, and we do have a little bit of a unique scenario where we never lived together at any point, but we also never lived alone at any point before we moved in together. So like she lived with her parents, I lived with my parents. We never moved out for college. We stayed home. So we do have a very unique situation. So it might not be the same as yours, but we would love to hear your expectations or if you are already married, some realities. But we're going to share some of ours.
Yeah. So just like he was saying, we do have a very unique perspective, and getting to know more people, especially as some people, get married older, get in serious relationships older, like some people are already out on their own, or, it's very rare for people not to go live at their college, but our school just happened to be so close that we commuted, save that moolah. But yeah, no, we did not live with anybody besides our families prior to getting engaged, getting married, moving in together. So that was quite a bit of a shock. If you remember from our first episode, which we released sometime last year in 2023, our very first episode, we talked about the merging of our lives and merging everything that came with it, from our past, our background, everything that we'd learned, everything that had been instilled in our brains, all of that, merging that. And so once we finally got into our marriage, we learned a few things about each other.
So what is your first expectation that you had that did not match with reality?
All right, I'm turning this so you can't see it.
Okay.
All right, number 1, having a spark in your relationship.
What the hell? What do you mean? We don't have a spark?
No, we do.
Huh.
We do. The expectation, though, here that I'm trying to get. So keep in mind, like I had mentioned, we did not live together prior to, right? Mm-hmm. So we didn't see each other as often. So
yeah,
not that we had a little bit more of a spark, but maybe we did, just because absence makes the heart grow fonder, right?
Yeah, we did miss each other a lot more, whereas now we're just here all the time. No, I do.
I don't blame you.
For the people who don't know, I do have a traveling job, so we don't see each other all the time.
Yeah, so it is almost kind of like that sometimes, back like it used to be before we lived together. But with that, I want to say that this is a common one that I've heard, and a lot of people place judgment upon this. And some people, some people are with it, some people are against it. I am against it. And I will say the expectation here that I have is if you don't feel a spark in your relationship, then your relationship is dead.
Yeah, but that's not true. right?
Yeah, no. It's, like I said, I don't believe that.
I think when it comes to that spark, you can get it back at different stages of your relationship. So like,
Oh, yeah.
like it might not be there all the time, but that doesn't mean that it's gone forever.
Right.
That's my perspective on it.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's, I mean, I don't think it's gone for us. I don't think it's gone forever. And I think, you know, you ebb and flow at different points in your relationship, and you're going to face challenges and you're going to have triumphs in your relationship. And that's that. And that's life. And you can't really control that. And, you know, with being in a long-term relationship, we're not supposed to be kept on our toes, right? There's security there, and not that we're fully comfortable with each other where it's boring. No, you know, like I still actively try and seek out ways to make our relationship fun and interesting, and you do as well.
Yeah.
But just because we face challenges in our relationship and in our personal lives that affect our relationship doesn't mean that the spark is dead. I don't like that term at all.
I think what people need to realize is once you've had a relationship like 5+ years, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of your firsts are over. Your first date, your first kiss, your first time going to the movies, your first time going to Taco Bell. Remember that?
That's a good one.
So like you gotta think like once you do the same thing over and over again, it's not like it loses value, but it loses its like spontaneity or like spark.
Like the newness of it just kind of wears off, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's sexy to be secure.
I think that's true, but also when that stuff starts happening, you have to remember there's so much else out there.
Oh, yeah.
You got to try and do something different. Mm-hmm. And that spark comes right back because like then you can continue to have those firsts.
Yeah. And I honestly didn't know what to expect getting married because, you know, we were a little younger. Some people would say. I mean, I think we were, how old? I was 22, you were 24. That can be an average age for some people. Maybe it's a little bit younger.
I think a good perspective to put on that is we were together for 6 years before that.
Yes, that is important to note as well. We were, basically together first and everything because we'd been together so long. Mm-hmm. So it just, you know, I don't like that term that saying, oh, well, you know, like you're getting married now, you're not going to have any romance or spark or whatever in your relationship. That is so not true. If somebody's saying that, then they're not trying.
Yeah, facts.
So I think that's an issue for them. And like I said, I didn't know what to expect getting married so young or at the age that we did. And I didn't know how that would affect our spark that we had, you know, seeing each other every day as opposed to how we used to see each other back when we first started dating. We barely saw each other. So there was a lot more spark there probably because whenever we got together, it would be so spontaneous and, oh, we only have this much amount of time. Like we have to have a great time within this time that we're hanging out. And then it's just we've gotten to spend more time together as we've gotten older and everything. And now with your traveling job, that definitely brings back a little bit, I think, for both of us because we don't get to see each other as much as if you had a work from home job like you used to. So when we do get to spend time together, I feel like it's extra special. And when we're not actually working on something, then that makes it really special for me.
It just depends. But I think overall that spark continues to stay within us.
It does. And last point that I want to say, you just have to work on it. Like I said, you're going to have challenges and you just have to figure out how to love your partner within those different stages of life that they're going through, that you're going through. You're not the same person you were as when you got married or when you first got together. That's just not possible. You're going to grow and change and be different versions of yourself. And the commitment that you're making to somebody when you get married is that you're going to love each version of that person.
I agree with that.
Next point. I thought marriage would be easy.
Yeah. This is a very cliche point. Like everybody says it's like marriage is hard though. Like I guess a lot of things say like marriage is amazing, but also a lot of people who are married always say marriage is hard.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. It's nothing good in life is easy.
There you go. That's a good point. I think the biggest thing here that people say is that marriage should be effortless with the right person. That is so not true.
Yeah, that is said a lot.
Yeah. I do not agree with that at all because like I said in my last point, There are going to be so many different versions of the person who you once were, who you are now, who you're going to be in the future, who you are when you have kids, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You're going to be different people. And it's not always easy to be fully compatible with that person if they've gone through a life change or whatever. You need to figure out how to make it work together aside from the differences that you may have.
I'm just going to say this. There have been times when me and Hallie were fighting about stupid little things, but it was so difficult to get past those bigger ones. And it was not easy. It took work on both parts. It took both of us to work on each aspect of that problem. For example, like we can come back to the money issue, okay? I was very strict with money, and I had a very strict budget. Once we bought this house, like I just wanted to make sure we were secure. And Hallie had the same goal in mind, but she wasn't as strict as I was. And so we were in this constant feud of like me kind of controlling the money, and that wasn't fair to Hallie, which at the time I'm like, it's our money. Like we have to save it. Like we have to do this. And so like at the time I didn't understand, like it's because it's our money. I'm not the only person who gets to say what happens with that money. Like we have to talk, we have to communicate with each other. And it took a lot of time to get over that argument. We still have money arguments, but they're definitely 100% less serious as they used to be. Like now it's not. Now it's just like she'll say something, I'll be like, okay, we've had this conversation before. This is how we're gonna deal with it. Boom, done.
And that also comes with maturing as well, because back when the argument first started happening, it came from a place of us both not really, like I didn't understand money that well. You didn't know fully how to talk to me about it, so it just wasn't overall a good conversation because neither one of us were really understanding fully what we were saying or doing and how it can affect the other person. And another example of this, because, you know, money is a hard topic, but also religion was not always an easy conversation for us, you guys.
Yeah.
Because when we first got together, we were very confused. Not when we first got together. Once we started to get more serious and started to think, okay, well, we could possibly get married someday, then that started to become a conversation. And we would constantly say, like, how is this going to work?
Yeah, we had no idea, especially with the marriage part of things. Like, how would the marriage work? Are we going to have two different weddings? Obviously, we did have two different weddings. But, like, you know, after the marriage part, what then? You know, like, there's so many unknowns. But once you realize there's so many others like you out there,
I know.
It's crazy. It's like, since we've started this podcast, it's just been nuts to see all the different situations, all the different interracial couples out there that are having a way harder time than we ever did. They're just insane, some of the stories that we have heard, and very grateful that you guys share those stories with us. But overall, it's one of those things that it's not easy. Okay,
it is so not easy. And the moment you commit to marrying somebody, you're committing to a lifetime of working on issues with that person together.
Yes, committing crimes, very big crimes.
Yes, that too.
That could make you go to prison for the rest of your life.
Yes. Well, maybe not. I was just thinking issues that come up between you two, you're working on figuring that out together and resolving that. And one of the biggest things too is that, I know I've said this a few times now, but I'm going to be a different person. I'm a different person when we got engaged and when we got married. I'm going to be different when we have kids. I'm going to be different in 25 years when I'm older and I'm not working anymore or whatever it may be. And we're just going to phase through different stages of life. And same with you. You're going to be a different person. And it's just all about learning to love that person. And if you really love that person, you'll make it work. I know that it's hard, especially when there are days, weeks, months, maybe when you're unhappy with this person and you're like, nothing is working. We're not on the same page. We're not communicating well. Like, we can't even go a day without an argument. Believe me, we've had times like that, especially the first year of marriage when we were really trying to figure out what it was like living together and merging our lives together. It was not easy. And it's really truly a testament to your relationship, how strong your guys' relationship is if you are truly willing to work on it, differences aside, sit down and say, I love you. I'm willing to work on this with you. What can we do to try and make it better? Because this just is not working.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And this is the last point before she moves on to her next one. But when we were in that battle period
when we were in our war era.
Yeah, when we were in that first year of marriage, it was a lot of fighting. And when we had that 1 week of just like no fighting, it would be so, like we would be both so happy. And then when something bad happened, just the tiniest little thing, we would forget that whole good week, right? All the bad that was happening before that good week comes right back to the beginning, and it feels like we're starting from scratch again.
Like you're just in an endless cycle of it happening over and over.
And so it's really hard to be positive in that situation too. So it's hard. It's difficult.
And it's sad because, it's sad because I feel like a lot of people go through that. And like I said, it's just hard. And we haven't really had anything super, super crazy happen yet, which we're very lucky to say that we've both had good lives and very lucky to be sitting here. And just, it's all about how you handle it together. And one question I want to ask you, if people say, oh, marriage is easy, like our relationship, we don't have any issues. What do you think about that?
Oh, I mean, we've run into this kind of situation where people are like, oh, we don't fight. I mean, it's okay to not fight, but I don't know. I think that...
Do you just agree to everything that each other says?
I don't know. I think as humans, we are meant to disagree and have conversations, not like fight, like fight all the time. But like, I think it's okay, even with your partner, to disagree on certain topics and like talk about it. It's okay. And when people say, oh, I've never had an argument with my partner and I've been with them for 5 years, I'm just like, there's
no way.
There's something that is not being said. It's either they're being fake with each other, they're just kind of hiding a certain part of their lives, or I don't know. I just can't fathom that.
Well, there's no way that people are perfect. Yeah. I mean, come on, even the most perfect marriage can have issues.
Yeah.
It's fair that...
Well, and it's okay to have issues, right?
Yes, it is, because I mean, I can say from our experience, and this actually goes into my next point, my last one, that I thought we would agree on more in our marriage because we'd already made so many decisions and struggled with some things earlier on in our relationship.
If anybody knows me, I'm the most opinionated man on earth.
Yeah.
And I love to cause arguments. I love to disagree with Hallie. I love to just like pick her brain on why she does
push my buttons.
Yeah, I push every button.
Let me just see what she thinks of that.
And so if she was a keyboard, every button would be pressed. I'm just saying, like, it's just one of those things that I don't know why I do it, but I do it. It's just my personality.
You're a button pusher.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact that I can't control myself.
Do you ever think maybe in your brain like you should settle down a little bit?
I mean, over the years, it's been a little bit better. Like, I've been able to be like, if I say this, I'm going to have to spend another 20 minutes arguing about it. Maybe I should shut up.
Yeah.
So
think about that. Maybe next time you want to push somebody's buttons, maybe you should shut up.
Yeah. And so it is. Yeah, you're right.
So back to my point. Earlier on in our relationship, obviously, we dealt with the obvious hardships, struggling to figure out how we were going to be together because we loved each other. How are we going to make this work? That is a lot to deal with, I think, especially at an early age when you're so young in your relationship. And, other arguments that we've had have felt easy in comparison to that.
Yeah.
But I guess thinking after we got married that we're not going to have many issues. Wrong. That was the dumbest thing for me to think.
Yeah. I think yeah. I mean, even me, like when we got married, we went to our honeymoon. We were on a high. Like there was nothing that could stop us. And then, I don't know, things just happen.
Things just get complicated. We go back to work. We resume our lives again, but this time we're doing it completely differently because we're together. We're living in a new place. We're living in a new house. Things are expensive with you and the money and the things that you get mad
Who paid the trash bill this week, Not that we have a trash bill every week, but I remember at the very beginning stages, we didn't know how to pay for the trash, everybody. We literally went to a dumpster and threw the trash out because we had no idea what we were doing.
Hey, like our neighborhood, though, they were still building houses. So to be fair, there were dumpsters everywhere. So that was kind of nice.
But anyways, it was it was just hard. It was just like random things that if any inconvenient thing happened, there would be an argument.
Yeah.
But
And I think that too comes with a maturity thing because we were a little bit younger and we still are. And so we handle things a little bit differently. But we're learning every day. So it's a little bit of maturity, a little bit of now knowledge and knowing how to deal with each other. Because I thought this goes with my point, but I thought I knew you so well before we got married. We didn't live together. How am I supposed to know you as best as I can if we don't live together? Now I know you very well.
Yeah.
I know a little too much.
Yeah, a little bit too much for sure.
But the reality of this is that we still have arguments, and it's a good thing to have arguments. I mean, maybe not like crazy screaming, fighting arguments. You don't want to have those. But it's healthy to disagree on things, and the beauty of marriage is that you're going to learn and grow from that person, and hopefully it's just only going to make you a better spouse and person in your marriage. So we discover every day that we have differing opinions on certain things, big or small, whatever it may be, but it all really depends on how you handle it. That's
Great
my
points.
point.
All right, my turn.
Here you go.
I was trying to take the computer, by the way, of anyone who's watching, and she was like, it's like, okay, God, I'm trying to prepare for my next three. All right, here we go. My points, everybody.
right,
You guys
all right.
ready?
I am.
Expectation, number one for me.
All right.
Shared responsibilities / equal investment. Okay, what does that mean?
What does that mean?
It means I thought the expectation was we were going to split everything down the middle in terms of our responsibilities. Like she would do equal things, I would do equal things. Everything would be fine. Equal
So
and
50-50.
50-50. Equal investment just means the same thing about like each person had the equal responsibilities. Each person was putting in equal amount of effort, right? Which I still no. I still think we do that. I think that was the expectation, but the reality is Hallie does 100 times more than me. Everyone,
You sound so fake. You're trying to just butter me up and be
the reality
mean.
is that responsibilities may not always be equal. There will be weeks where I do more and Hallie does less, and
when
Hallie
do you
does
do
more.
No, I'm just kidding.
And I do less. For example, if I'm on like a full week trip, right? Hallie's doing all the work in the house. She's doing everything, 100% effort. And then I come home and I'm like, dang, I'm tired. I'm not gonna do it. So I put in 0. And then when I get home, I put in more zeros. And so it's just like Hallie's doing 100 plus 100, right? And
Sure.
and it's just a lot more on you. Mm-hmm. Whereas there are other weeks where Hallie's feeling like today, Hallie's feeling tired. I made her brunch today.
This doesn't happen. So thank you. Applaud.
Everyone applaud me.
Tell
please.
him good job, please.
Each partner contributes at different times, like just however they may contribute. Like one of our best contributions, 50-50. Well, maybe not 50-50. Hallie does a lot more hard work when it comes to the cooking side of things. But when she's done cooking, I will clean the whole kitchen. I'll do all the dishes. And that to me is putting in enough to where, okay, she's done the cooking. And I hope this helps to a point where she doesn't have to do the rest of that excess work, right?
Which is very nice, which honestly, I don't know how many men out there do this. I truly, truly appreciate it because I talked to some of the women in my family, and they're like, oh my gosh, they would kill him to do that. Like he would never do that. And so I'm very grateful for you truly because like today, for example, I was cooking for 2 hours. That was prepping everything, making it, actually baking. I mean, it took 2 hours. And so by the time that was done, I was so tired. And we finished eating and he started cleaning up the kitchen. I just got to go chill on the couch. That to me is I love how we do that.
We had to learn about those shared responsibilities. That example is a very good, straight 50-50 example. That is not what happens all the time. And
it didn't used to be like that.
Yeah,
when we first got married, I don't know when it changed, but when we first got married and we're married for a little while, I was doing both. And I would just be so tired. And I was doing the vacuuming in the house and I was doing all the other cleaning. And then Hallie took a lot of that over. And now it's just, it's all a cycle of we're doing things at different times. We're learning, we're trying to help each other as much as we can, but the expectation is not always the reality. Okay. So there's going to be times where it's not the same and you're just going to have to put in that effort because you love the person. Well, and the thing too, I think you mentioned this, but is communicating that.
Yeah.
Like today we woke up and said, let's do some cleaning. We have some time. Why not? We both love a clean house. It makes us happy. So let's put on like a movie on the TV and we're like all vacuum the house. If you want to clean the sinks and all dust.
Toilets too.
Yeah, toilets. Yeah. We
worst
switched
part.
that one. Yeah. I usually make you clean your bathroom because you are in there the majority of the time.
Whatever.
But the biggest thing for living in a house with your significant other, are you farting?
No, I'm really not. Say that
Promise?
again. Yeah.
The biggest thing, the biggest piece of advice that I can offer to somebody, to a couple in living in a place together and you're wanting to split your responsibilities is communicate that.
Yeah.
And like he was saying, there are going to be times where one person is more in it than the other, and that's okay. And that can just be, I mean, that's one of my love languages, acts of service. I love when you do things for me. So the fact that he was willing to do that said a lot to me, and it made me very happy, and it was just nice. Like he said he made me brunch this morning. Fantastic. I wasn't feeling great, so I just got to sit on the couch. Not sat on the couch. I did sit on the couch. I watched Schitt's Creek and had a croissant. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was great. I want to move on to the next point, which is expectation, constant romance. All right, listen. This is the expectation every man has. All right,
yes.
It's just a thing. Like
Men.
get married, boom, constant romance. All right, and the truth is, relationships have ups and downs. Everyone, okay?
Oh, they do.
Not every moment in reality is like a romantic movie.
I was gonna say it's not like a rom-com.
It's
all the time.
not. All right. And so you got to remember that everything you just need to relax. If you're a man, relax. Okay. Calm down. And I'm telling this to myself.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Do you want me to get you a mirror?
And it's just one of those things where you kind of have to, you forget when you get married. Sometimes the guy forgets about the things you used to do to win the girl. All right. You got to keep doing those things, because if you stop, there is no more romance. Okay. I had to learn this the hard way. I stopped doing everything.
Yeah,
okay?
he sits on the couch
sit
and
on
is
the couch.
served.
I guess
And he's
served.
like, come here. No, absolutely not. I'm not in it.
It's just one of those things. You got to have a reason for the woman to come to you. Okay. And if you're not putting in that effort, the reality is going to be no romance. Okay. And so just keep that in mind. It's a very quick one about how to keep that spark that Hallie was mentioning alive. Okay. Do you have anything to say about it?
Yes, I have quite a few things to say about it, but one thing I will note is that it is very important for me that we both put in effort into our relationship and make each other feel special.
Yeah.
I need to feel special and wanted and desired in a relationship, or else like there's no spark, there's no connection. And we need to be doing something, again, quality time. Physical touch is nice. Give me a hug. Give me a massage. Do the sweet things.
Just like she said, know your partner's love language to be
Yes.
able to satisfy their needs, because it is important to do that.
Yes. And one thing, I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the last podcast or not. Saw this on Instagram. Loved it. Love your partner in their love language, not yours.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing, is if you can be considerate enough to, like his, for example, his physical touch. He loves if I'm just next to him, or if I just touch his hand, or if I like rub his back, or like grab his arm, or like we're holding hands in public. That's very much your thing.
That's literally all I need.
Yeah.
That's it. That'll keep me happy
That'll
for the
do
rest
it
of my
for you.
life. Yes, exactly.
That'll do it for you. But for me, and I think I can speak for most women in general, it's much more complicated.
Yeah.
Is that funny?
This thing is like she's very complicated, everybody.
I think a lot of things. I think a lot in general. There's always something going on up here. Even if I have a blank stare, there's a lot going on up here. So for me, say for example, if we wake up wrong and you piss me off the start of the day,
It's game over.
game over.
Game over. It's a puzzle piece.
You're not getting anything.
You're making a puzzle of the same solid color at that point. Okay. There's a solid color. You have to put each piece in, and you don't know where anything goes.
Yeah. But like I said, you know my love languages. If you can try and romance me in that way and be sweet to me and give me a sweet kiss on my forehead because normally you get to go to the bathroom before I get up and say good morning, like you normally do. Good morning, I love you, how'd you sleep, whatever, that kind of thing. And then I just like when you're thoughtful throughout the day, because romance and love and special treatment for me starts from the start of the day.
Yeah.
And it's not just boom, oh, that was sweet, that gave me a little spark.
Yep.
I need it all day, every day.
It's hard work, okay?
I sound pretentious. I have high expectations.
That was my second point. My third point is expectation of always being in sync. Now, what does this mean? The reality is, like, individuals change and grow, and staying connected requires you to adapt to these changes.
That goes to like one of the things that I was saying is that you're going to be different people throughout your relationship.
Exactly. And so you really need to make sure you're on the same page, and your pages will change. So make sure when you change that page, your partner's on that page with you. Okay.
Oh yeah.
It happens a lot more frequently than you would think. Like if you go back to your last year self, do you even recognize that person? You might. I'm not talking to you if you do recognize yourself from. I don't recognize myself from last year.
I don't recognize you from last year either.
And so it's just one of those things that you will change a lot in your life every year. Big changes will happen. And it's just one of those things that you need to keep your partner in that same path with you. Like they need to know where you're going. They need to know if you're changing, how you're changing, what you need. Communication, back to communication. So that is a big one of like when me and Hallie are sometimes not in sync. Like we just, like,
it's obvious.
It's just like we're not on the same page. We're not there mentally. Like we're not being the same selves that we were, which because we're not our same selves, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just one of those things that you have to get back on the same page, and that is not like let's talk about this and get it over with. No, it might take a day, it might take a week, it might take a month, but it's going to be work.
And I will say this is something that happens, especially when we both get really busy and we're just overwhelmed, like especially during the summer when it's wedding season, we're doing podcasts, we're seeing more people, we're at work full time still. It's like all this stuff that we normally do in our lives is in full swing. That can get so complicated and just throw both of us off completely. And this is such a normal thing that happens in relationships all the time. You're not going to be in sync all the time. You're going to have stages where you guys struggle to connect and struggle to do things, and you're not finishing each other's sentences. Like sometimes we just completely fall out of sync and we don't even know. We're like, how do we start? And we can recognize it because it can become pretty obvious at some point, but a lot of the times we're like, how do we even get back in sync? Like we were in such a good rhythm, and then what happened? Now this is all just crumbling down. What can we do to get back in sync? We don't even know.
Yeah. And it takes work. Just remember that. Now we went through like 6 different items of marriage expectations versus reality. I bet we missed a few. So if you are either married or maybe you're not married, what are some expectations for the people who aren't married? What are some expectations you have of marriage? And then if you're married, what are some expectations that you had but now are not reality? I would love to know down in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube, and if you're watching on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, there should be a Q&A feature of just like asking a question or writing. And if you don't want to even do that, you can go to www.halfpastshot.com and submit either a question or story, whatever you want to submit, okay?
Mm-hmm. Unless you're one of those perfect couples that you like don't have any issues. In that case, I don't know.
Good for you.
Yeah, good for you. I don't believe you.
All right. Moving on.
All right. Now, we're skipping questions of the week this week. So we did a full questions of the week podcast episode last week. But don't worry, you guys. We're going to get back into questions of the week next week. But I want to go into some personal updates.
Ooh.
Suketu, how have you been, my man?
I've been good. I've been trying to get more into TikTok, everybody. So if you haven't followed me, at Suketu V Patel at Suketu Patel on TikTok, at Suketu V Patel on Instagram. Ah, man, I wish I had that full username, but some doctor took it from me. I didn't become a doctor, and that's why I don't have it. But
it's because your parents are disappointed.
Yep,
You're not. I'm just kidding.
Exactly the reason. Making a lot more content. making a lot more YouTube videos that are coming out. So I'm very excited about that. But personally, still working hard with my job.
Traveling
a lot. Going to Alabama for the first time next week. So that should be fun.
What's the Roll Tide?
Roll Tide.
Go Roll. What's it?
No, it's Roll Tide.
Yeah, but like, isn't there? It's not just
Alabama.
Go Roll Tides.
No, it's just Roll Tide.
Oh, Roll Tide, baby.
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
So it should be fun.
Yeah.
But what about you, Hallie?
Good. It's been interesting getting back into a schedule ever since the holidays are over now. I'm sure everybody can relate to this. But it's always tough because when you're in a lull and you're wanting a break so bad prior to the holidays, you're like, oh, can't wait for Christmas or Thanksgiving or New Year's or all these things. So excited. Then you get in it. It's just pure chaos. It's so hard having a birthday on Christmas Eve. I really, truly feel this now in my bones this year. It's very complicated.
Yeah, that, and also it's -5. It was -5 degrees this morning here.
It's so
in
cold.
Indy,
That's another thing.
You don't want to go outside. We didn't go outside today, guys. We didn't even open the garage.
No.
It's too cold to do anything, and that being stuck inside the house can really depress you. We're gonna try and get out tomorrow, but it says it's gonna be like -3, so it's not gonna be any better. So I don't know what's gonna happen. Why do we live in the Midwest, Hallie?
Well, I don't know, because even in like East Coast, it's in the 30s, 40s.
That's better than -5.
We were talking to our Discord this morning, and we heard that in Texas, it's like 4 degrees in Texas. That's
nuts.
Crazy.
Yeah, you should follow us on Discord as well. I would join the community, Half Past Crew.
Join the Half Past Crew.
Because the community is amazing. Okay, we love talking to the Half Past Crew.
Yeah. So speaking of that, with the weather, one thing that I think we've mentioned on here is that we're both really into running now. Suketu's been getting hurt. I don't think he's meant for running, unfortunately.
I'm gonna keep doing it though.
But you should take a little bit of a break.
I'm gonna take
doctors.
a week break.
Please tell him to take a break. But yeah, so that's been hard too, because we were having almost like fall weather for the most of December and even first part of January, and then just kept getting colder and colder. So now I got to run inside. That sucks.
Yeah,
so that's been interesting. But with that, I have a very fun announcement. Actually, you guys, I got my first brand deal.
Yeah, baby, let's go. And not only a brand deal, but the most perfect brand deal.
The most on-brand brand deal.
That fits with Half Past Child, but that fits with Hallie so well because she's a cook. She's a chef, everybody. And I just want you to know that this brand, we are not getting like paid to say this. We are sponsored by them in the way that if you buy and you use Hallie's code, which is
Hallie20
to get 20% off, if you do that, then we do get a little bit. So we keep that in mind. #ad. I don't want anybody to feel like they have to buy it or anything like that. But I'm telling you, I made paneer.
He made paneer.
Paneer masala. What is it called? What was the actual?
Paneer butter masala.
Paneer butter masala. It's not paneer tikka masala. It's paneer butter masala. And it was so good. And I was like, there's no physical way that you can make it in 5 minutes. But I actually made it in 5 minutes.
Yeah. He made it, you guys. Again,
it's just crazy.
We're not being paid to say this. It was so freaking good. I promise you I would not lie to you on this. Like I wouldn't make videos if I didn't love the food, and I love the food.
It blew my mind when, like, if you know what an MRE, so meal ready to eat, like for military, I made a video with my friend Micah, the guy who was on the podcast not too long ago, but we made a video called Trying an MRE for the First Time, and it was all like these packaged meals, and then I made it, like it was like had this hot like water that it heats up, and then it boils everything together, and it was really cool to see. But when I ate it, I mean, it wasn't the best food in the world. So I was expecting not the greatest things with this specific sponsor.
Yeah, it's prepackaged.
Did we even
food.
say the name yet?
They're the Cumin Club.
The Cumin Club. And
the Cumin Club.
It's just prepackaged food, and you just put it in, add some water, boom, done.
Yeah.
And it's so good, guys. I had no idea that you could make something so good that is prepackaged like this.
Yeah, we had no idea what to expect. And when we saw paneer, we were like, paneer, but how did they, like, how's a thing? But don't trust me, it's paneer. It's just packaged, and it was not freeze dried, but like it's able to be boiled and like it turns into regular pudding. I don't know. It was so good. And I promise I would not put you on this if I didn't think it was fantastic, because we're obsessed with it. It's the Cumin Club. They have an Instagram, TikTok, but they have their own website too. They're based out of Illinois, actually, which is really cool. And then they can ship it to anywhere. So that's sick. So definitely check that out and use Hallie20 because you'll get 20% off. So not trying to plug it or anything.
They
but
have
like,
a lot of deals other than that too. So
yeah,
definitely check them out.
And one more thing that I want to mention, because this was also super cool. We went to an Indian street food style restaurant this weekend.
Yes, we did. It was so good.
And we met a fellow Half Past crew member.
Guys,
shout out Abhishek.
If you ever see us, just come up and say hi. Don't ever
give us
be
a squeeze, a hug.
Yes,
we're huggers.
Exactly. And so don't ever be afraid to say hi. Abhishek, he came up to us. He's like, I swear I knew you guys from something. And I didn't know until I realized you're the guys from Half Past Cha. And I was like, look at that. And the craziest thing is that he also gets his haircut from the same guy I get my haircut from.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
What a small world, everybody.
Like, what are the odds? And I was like, dude, your hair looks great. He did a great job cutting it because he gives him practically the same haircut. So that was super cool. So yeah, just a quick reminder, if you ever see us anywhere, let's talk. We talked to him for like 10 minutes and it was great. We love getting to know you and know how you discovered our podcast and how long you've been in the community. So it's always appreciated. So shout out once again, Abhishek. You're great. Thanks for coming up. We enjoyed talking to you. But yeah, this was fantastic.
That is it for this episode, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. There's a lot of marriage expectations versus reality, and I hope that you guys commented, because I need comments. If you have any other questions, please submit to www.halfpastcha.com. There's going to be a big revamp to the site very soon, okay?
Ooh, I can't wait.
I want to say things, but I can't say it, okay? It's just taking a minute.
It's top secret. Half Past crew, we love you guys so much. Thank you so much for tuning in every single week for our podcast episodes. We cannot thank you enough for the continued support that you give us. And we are so excited for all the crazy, amazing things that are to come this year. So thank you. You're the best. We love you.
And as always, we will see you next Monday at Half Past Cha. Why are you doing that? Okay. All right.
I'm not trying to. I feel like I'm slouching.